Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming my birth story while doing a get ready with me makeup look. Before I get too into the makeup look and talking about the birth story, if you don't want to hear about blood or how she came out or anything like that, you might want to just go ahead and click off the video. And I'll also be linking all the products in my video or down below. Okay, first I'm going to be talking about the things that led up to me going into the hospital and giving birth. As I filmed my last video that's on my channel, I actually delivered within a couple to few days after that. I had a doctor's appointment on December 9th, which is also my fiance's birthday. And we kind of had a feeling that I could go into labor or deliver by that point, or definitely by that coming weekend for sure, because I was already almost at 4 centimeters. Appointment was at 3:45 that day on the 9th. I was fine all day pretty much leading up to that, cramping, kind of having some contractions here and there like usual. And my sister comes to our apartment to come help me because of COVID I can't go in with anybody. So she had to watch my son while I go into my appointment. I go in like normal and get signed in, get my temperature taken, sit down in the waiting room and wait for my turn to be called back there. My turn to get called back, and usually they always take your blood pressure, urine sample, and you get your weight checked every time. So first I go to the restroom, give them my urine sample. Then I get weighed, which I was still at 150. And then it was time to get my blood pressure taken. Every time I got my blood pressure taken, it was fine. It was perfect until this appointment. I sit in the chair thinking everything's fine, and then she starts taking my blood pressure. And usually if your blood pressure is normal, they don't have to go past anymore to a certain point when they're taking it. And this time I noticed that she kept going, and I was thinking, what does that mean? She stops taking my blood pressure finally, and she looks at me like, and she said it was 150 over 108, and I was like, oh no. So she asked me, has it been like this before? And I said no, every time it's been completely normal since I've been coming until now. They have me go sit in the waiting room for another 15 minutes so that I can kind of calm down, and hopefully my blood pressure will level out and lower. So I sit there and wait 15 minutes and then get called back again, sit down again. She takes my blood pressure, and it's only at, I think it was at 140 over, I believe, 102. So it was still kind of pretty high. She goes, okay, sends me back into a room and tells me that the provider will be in there soon. And this is on a Wednesday, so they have different providers there throughout the week. And usually on Wednesdays, Kim is there, which actually delivered my last child, my son. I was kind of hoping that I would see her because that would be pretty cool, because I haven't seen her this entire pregnancy. And she walks into the room, which is funny because I was thinking that in my head. She kind of talks to me, asks me what's going on, is kind of worried about my blood pressure, which I was freaking out too in my head. I was thinking, oh my gosh. So she starts talking to me. She checks me, which the week before I was at 3 centimeters, which was very shocking because I was only like 37 weeks. And then she checks me and says I'm 3 centimeters and 70% effaced, which is almost out of 4. She starts then talking to me about, we may have to send you to the hospital because of your elevated blood pressure. And I was like, I was thinking in my head, oh, this day was gonna go good. We were gonna go to my doctor's appointment Then after that, my fiance would be off of work and we could go eat dinner and stuff like that. Well, she had other plans. She then tells me, we're gonna go out here and check your blood pressure one last time. And if it's high still, then you're gonna be sent to the hospital and I'll call labor and delivery and tell them that you're on your way. And I literally did like a sigh of, oh my gosh, because after I was walking out of that doctor's office, I was in literally such a weird mindset because, or really weird headspace, because with my last child that was born, I ended up getting post preeclampsia after he was born, probably like around 5 to 6 days after. And one of the symptoms was very high blood pressure. And if you get to that point, you can it's possible to have a heart attack or have a seizure. So it's kind of a very scary place to be in, especially if I haven't even had her yet and my blood pressure's already that high. And the last reading that she got before we went to the hospital was, I believe, 160 over 112. So at that point, I was like, we need to go now. I need to just try to remain calm as possible and just focus on her being okay and me being okay. My sister leaves the doctor's office with us in the car, and I call my fiance, let him know what's going on, kind of give him an update while trying to still remain calm. Get to the apartment. He's already waiting right there. We get out. By the way, my son is literally screaming his head off in the car, and I was like, oh, I cannot leave him like this. So we took him out of the car seat too, gave him a hug, then we went inside the apartment, got our bags, left, and my sister took my son because obviously you can't have a child in the hospital room with you with COVID. So she took him to my parents' house so that they could all help out and watch him. We didn't have any idea what was going to happen after we arrived at the hospital. We get to the hospital, we have to go through the ER to get to labor and delivery, and it's so weird because there's no chairs. All there is a lady just sitting at a desk with all her paperwork and everything, and having to check people's temperatures before they even go past that point. I have to get the usual questions of, have you been here? Have you come into contact with someone that's had COVID recently? All those. And we obviously said no. And got our temperature taken. We were fine, of course. So we get sent up to labor and delivery, and we get put in the only room that was available, which is crazy. We get there, and I have to give a urine sample, of course, get changed into a gown, everything like that. I believe we got there right before 6 o'clock. I was waiting on someone to come into the room because it was kind of taking a while. I think they were about to do a shift change of nurses and everything like that. I don't know, I was just trying to remain calm and keep my blood pressure fine because I was so nervous that I was already possibly having pre-preeclampsia or was going to have post-preeclampsia because of my blood pressure already being high. I was like freaking out kind of in my head, like, okay, just hopefully everything will be fine. They can get everything under control. I'm already here at the hospital. Everything's going to be fine. I get changed in my gown and everything, and we don't really know what's going to happen at this point. All I'm sent in there for is to be monitored and to get good control of my blood pressure. Finally, the nurse walks in and she's like, okay, we're going to get things going. We're going to get start on Pitocin and everything like that. And we're just kind of looking at each other like, huh? Because no one has said anything to us, and we're like, no one has told us that we're even staying here. So I got checked in and they were gonna go ahead and induce my labor, so I was like, Well, it's a good thing we brought everything that we needed, because if not, he would have had to leave and then go get everything and then come back, and it would have been a big ordeal. Call family, kind of update them before they start the Pitocin. Everybody kind of knows what's going on, and I'm just waiting on them to come in and start the Pitocin, because I know Pitocin is not fun, and it makes your labor that much harder and contractions that much harder. But I was trying to think in my head, well, since I'm already at almost a 4 already, hopefully things will just go fast and it won't be so bad. They start the Pitocin at 7:35 p.m. and I was almost sitting at a 4 when they started the Pitocins. They start that, and I didn't really even feel a whole lot of it until like about an hour in, because they increase it to every time they come into the room. And by an hour and a half, I was definitely feeling the contractions. They were starting to pick up more and start hurting more, which is normal. I knew that was going to happen, so I was thinking, oh, I'll wait a little bit longer to get the epidural. I'll be fine. To be about 8 something, 9 o'clock, I believe I was already dilated to I think I was dilated to like almost a 5 by that time. And I was okay, I'll wait just a little bit longer so that I can get the IV fluid bag and then get the epidural. I always get the epidural because my heart rate and blood pressure always try to climb high with my contractions and labor. With an epidural, it lowers your heart rate and keeps your blood pressure kind of in check. So that's one of the biggest reasons why that I've gotten it both times, because I just want everything to go as smoothly as it can and me to be able to actually have them and push them out and everything be fine. Around, I believe it was 9 o'clock or maybe 9:15 or so p.m. I decided I wanted to go ahead and get the epidural, so I let my nurse know, and they went ahead and set up the IV fluid bag, and you have to go through a whole bag before you can get the epidural. Okay, I know I definitely look different right now, but I was editing my video and realized that I definitely forgot one of the most important parts of my birth story. My doctor that delivered Emma, Kim, came in and broke my water at around 9:12, and around that time I think I was at like a 4, almost a 5. I usually use a tool that's like, it has like a little tiny plastic hook at the end, I think, and that way it's easier for when they insert it in down there to break your water. It can pop the bag real easily, and it's actually pretty long. I think you can look it up even to see maybe what it looks like. A little bit difficult for her at first to break it, but then she got it. And if you've ever gotten your water broken before, it is the weirdest feeling. Like you're good and dry 1 minute, and then once they break your water, it takes a second, and then all of a sudden it feels like you literally just peed yourself everywhere, all over the bed. And they have to put towels down and a pad down to catch all of it, because it feels like you're peeing yourself and it doesn't stop. It just constantly continues to slowly leak out, and it's like usually when they break my water, things start speeding up faster and I start dilating way quicker, because I went from almost being barely a 5 to progressing really quickly, because I had her by 1:38 a.m. the next morning. So that is like that's like a 4-hour span of having my water broke, and I had her by then. I was thinking to myself, okay, this fluid bag needs to hurry up because I'm starting to really hurt, and I don't want to do this and be late and not even be able to get it in time. So she hurries, puts the fluid bag on the fastest it can go and push through your body. At about, I think 10:30 p.m. I was at a 6, almost a 7, and that's when the fluid bag was finished, and I was able to get my epidurals. They unfortunately made my fiance leave the room again to give me my epidural, and I don't know why they do that. I hate that, because you want to be able to lean on your significant other's like shoulder or something, or hold their hand or something, because getting an epidural is kind of nerve-wracking. They made him go wait in the NICU waiting room out like where the hallway is, and I had to get the epidural. The anesthesiologist lady comes into the room and she starts asking me questions. I have to sign a few things before I get the epidural, and I was just, you know, thinking in my head, praying like, let everything be fine, epidural go fine, everything like that. And at this point, I was literally like all right at a 7, I'm pretty sure, because that time had passed and I was already at like almost a 6 when the IV bag had already started. So I was like, oh, I need to get this epidural because it's starting to get really painful, and you have to sit there and breathe through contractions while they're giving the epidural to you. They have you arch your back, everything like that, hug the pillow. I had about probably 3 contractions while she was giving me the epidural through the whole process. And after that, I was like, oh, I hope this kicks in fast, like hopefully within the next 30 minutes, because they were starting to really intensify, because I was most likely at a 7 trying to work to an 8. After they gave me the epidural, I got to sit back in the bed and kind of just be still and try to let everything do what it was supposed to. And with this time, with the epidural, I don't know why, but she kind of gave it to me in my lower back, which last time with my son, they gave it up higher, kind of in the middle of my back. I don't know why there was a difference where they gave it to me at, but this time it gave me bad lower back pain after I delivered her, for especially like the first 5 days, which was kind of, I wish I wouldn't have had to deal with that, but it's fine. There's risks with epidurals, and I know that, but everything worked out okay, so it's fine. By that time, it was around, I believe, like 11 o'clock or so. We were thinking, oh my gosh, is she gonna get here on his birthday, or is she gonna come after midnight? And I had them check me again, and I think I was at a 8 by like 11:30. So we were thinking, maybe, maybe not. And I had to go through some weird positions that she put me in, which I love my nurse. I don't care that she did this with me, but I feel like it did make my back pain a little bit worse because I moved quite a bit. I had to sit in a position like turned, then I had to kind of fold my legs like that. I'm trying to explain this as best I can. Kind of like sitting in, the bed was like this, with my legs kind of, my heels touching, sitting at a slant like that with my legs open. So I was like, if she tries to come out right now, you're either gonna catch her or you're gonna run to the door and holler at them, because being that close to a 10 with your legs open like that at an incline is scary. It puts thoughts in your mind. By like 12 something, we were thinking, oh, she didn't make it in time on your birthday, but I was literally almost sitting at a 9 by that point. And the epidural finally actually started working like it was supposed to, because it gave me some weird feelings. Like I could feel it almost up to here of numbness and kind of just feeling weird. And I was thinking, am I gonna be fine, or did this epidural just do something to me? But after that, it started working. At, I believe I think it was 1:05, she checked me last, and I was at like a 9.5, almost at a 10. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm seriously about to meet her, and it's gonna be crazy, because I started thinking back to my last experience of when he came out and they put him on my chest. So I started getting kind of like nervous and excited because it was about to be go time. I kind of had her keep checking me a few times till I got to 10, because it really felt like I was right at that point. I could feel pressure and all that. So finally, at I think it was 110, I was at 10 centimeters, and they got everybody in the room that needed to be in there, and Kim came in to sit there to deliver her, and I had to start pushing. And I was thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I have to do this again, because it's a lot of work. You use a lot of muscle, a lot of strength, a lot of energy trying to get a baby out, especially from out of your underneath area. I was just thinking to myself, it's fine, I'll be fine. As soon as she comes out, I'll feel relieved. So I started pushing, I believe, at 110. I think it was 110 or like close to 115. And she came out at 138 on the dot. And oh my gosh, I like felt her head come out, and then the shoulders and stuff, and then just the pressure just like just released, and I was like a breath of relief, because it's a lot of work. There's a lot of blood that comes out, and just other stuff and stuff I don't want to really look at. I just want to pay attention to her, make sure she's okay. The nurses and everybody just congratulated us, and we all laughed because me and my fiance both looked to make sure it was actually a girl, because we still couldn't believe it. And we were just so excited and happy for her to finally be here, and that everything was okay, because it was a little weird delivering early this time. So by that point, after she got delivered, I had her on my chest for a little bit, doing skin to skin, and they were kind of checking on me, checking on my bleeding and everything down there. And I think after that they took her off my chest so that Kim could deliver my placenta and all that, and make sure everything's good and I don't hemorrhage or anything like that, which everything turned out great. She delivered my placenta, got bleeding under control, and I did rip a tear again down there. The first time I had like a 2nd-degree tear. I had to get sewn, and then this time I pretty much had the same thing and had to get sewn again in the same kind of spot, which kind of sucks, because it's like, I was really hoping that I wouldn't tear this time. But I mean, it is what it is. Most of the time, if you tear the first time, you tear again the second time, so it just makes postpartum kind of hard, because you have to keep everything super, super clean down there. Have a squeegee bottle. If you've toured before, you know what I'm talking about. That thing is like your best friend. And you just have to not really use a lot of soap down there, anything like that. Just really warm water and just keep it really clean. My labor and delivery couldn't have gone any better. I just was really scared and nervous at first, because I was thinking, am I gonna get this preeclampsia again, or post preeclampsia, because it is really not fun at all. And if you've had it before, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. They were able to get my blood pressure under control, all that, and even made sure they monitored it really well after she got here, and put me on medicine for it, just to make sure that everything stayed okay and that I didn't get it this time. That made me super relieved, and I'm just so thankful that everything went the way it did. And I think that God just really watched over us and made sure that the things happened the way they did, so that I could go in the hospital and everything be okay, because I don't think I could have, I don't know what would have happened if I would have just gone like that, like days after or a week after having high blood pressure like that, and even like dilating more with everything like that going on. That would have been so chaotic, and I would have been freaking out like probably way worse. So thankful that we're both healthy and doing well, and I couldn't imagine it going any smoother, because I actually wasn't in super bad pain till I hit about a 7, so I'm so glad that everything lined up the way it did. And the hospital stay was really actually pretty nice because everything was pretty quiet in the hallways. We didn't really see any people. They were really careful wheeling us to the other room when they send you to the the other floor after you wait 2 hours in the room you delivered in, and they just really took great care of us. So now I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and speed it up. Okay, I'm completely done with my makeup look. This is kind of like an everyday with a lip combined. I just wanted to say thank you all so much for the support. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and if you haven't already, hit the bell notification so you know when I post my next video. Bye guys! I also wanted to give you guys a little peek at my little Emma girl because right now she's sleeping and I'm just gonna do like a little insert.